Absolutely. Unfortunately, it's just can sometimes help your emotions higher to this kind of.
Oh yeah, I haven't met you. I'm Mordo Alex's brother. No, nice to meet you too. Where are you from? Good. Good. So you've been busy with all the promotion stuff, are you? Yeah. Did you enjoy it? You did a good job of it. Well, today is really the result of a concept that my late brother, Murdo Alex Macritchie, had as a chef. It's called Haar, the new Hebridean kitchen. He had various pop-ups in various locations, including on the island here in Carloway and Ness, and also on the mainland at Bogbain and down in Suffolk. And sadly, Mordo Alec passed away 3 years ago just now with pancreatic cancer. He was diagnosed 3 years previously to that, but before he passed away, he more or less finished a book that was detailing all his recipes relating to Haar Hebridean, and that's what tonight's really all about, the launch of this book, Haar, the new Hebridean kitchen by Murdo Alex Macritchie. And it's really just a taste of his recipes. Some of them, it's just pictures, but some of them have the full recipes as well as pictures of the beautiful Hebridean landscape as well. So it's a real showcase of all things Hebridean. Some interesting recipes, a modern twist on old favourites. I won't give too much away. Buy the book and you'll see exactly what's in it, but it's a beautiful publication, a real testimony to his love for Hebridean cuisine with a wee twist in it.
Before he passed away, Mordo Alec wasn't able to finish it. What happened then?
So like I said, a lot of his recipes were in paper format. There was maybe pictures with them. He wasn't able to throw it all together. The majority of it was. My sister Kathleen, she managed to pull it all together. During lockdown actually, a lot of hard work went into just taking everything, collating it all together until we have the finished product here.
So what's going to happen now?
So tonight's really, it's a launch of the book first and foremost. It's a chance for people to buy the book, but it's also a chance for people to sample some of the canopies that were on the Haar Hebridean menu. So we're going to go through up to the cafe there, we're at the Hebridean niche in Ness, and we're going to try some of the various canopies that were on his menu. Then we're going to come down and we're going to have a little bit of a conversation just about the life of my brother Mordo Alec and what inspired him, what led him to this stage.
Well, it's very much a family involvement in that Mordo Alec's mother, Rena, and I are first cousins. And, we've always been in and out of each other's houses. I knew Mordo Alec growing up, and when he was running the restaurant Solar in Port of Ness, I used to go there every time I was at home. I used to take my mother there, and he was so kind to her. At that stage, she wasn't able to eat an awful lot, so I would be, my husband or whoever was with us would be sort of, guzzling away on lamb 3 ways and the beautiful food he used to make, and he was happy to make macaroni cheese for her, and she loved him and loved going with him. So when Kathleen started work on the book, I just helped her as much as I could.
That was some lockdown project.
It was a great lockdown project, but when you couldn't get to shops, it made you very hungry sometimes and wishing you could go out and eat. So yeah, it was a good project and a very worthwhile project, given that the proceeds are going to Bethesda and to pancreatic cancer research.
So what did you have to work with?
Well, it's really Kathleen who had the manuscript. He had done quite a lot of work himself. He had taken a lot of photographs. There were notes. and he wanted a strong Gaelic element in the book. So I suppose that was where I was probably most useful to the family. Yeah.
Tell me about the finished product.
Well, I think the finished product looks fantastic. It's Acker have done a superb job in producing it. It's here on time. That's fantastic. It has some really, really fabulous photography in it. I think it tells you a lot about Mordo Alec's own commitment to Ness, particularly to the islands, to produce from the islands, the exceptional foods that you can get raw in the islands right across there. And then, an insight into how a highly creative chef, what he does with these. Something I would never attempt, but I've often eaten his food and I can honestly say it was superb.
I met Murdo Alec almost 11 years ago now, very close to the day. I met him when he was just taken over the restaurant The Black Lion in Long Melford, which is a village just outside of the town that I grew up in, Hebridean. And at that point in my life, I was just trying to get into cooking. I was trying to figure out if that was the route I wanted to go down. And I've been trying to get jobs in various locations before that, to no avail. And then I went to the Black Lion for a meet and greet the chef, because Mordo Alec had just arrived in the town and it was just a great way for him to meet people from the village. So I arrived to that, and lucky enough, we're talking to Murdo for about 45 minutes to an hour. With a friend of mine who done most of the talking for me. I was just nodding in the background saying, yeah, I'd like to be a chef. And by the end of the hour, before we were leaving, Murdo offered me the chance to go and work there for a Saturday, just to see if I liked it. Just the way he definitely did describe it to me. It's not like MasterChef and everything on the TV. It is a lot of hard work and things. So he offered me the chance to go for one Saturday to go and help him. And the weekend after I went to eat, the first time I'd ever had a tasting menu, tasted his food, and it still lives in my head as one of the best meals I ever had. And then the week after I went for a Saturday, and then I kept going back every Saturday, so that was June, and I went back every Saturday until finally they offered me a job in October. Very thoughtful.
Did he tell you about the way that he cooked and what he cooked in the Hebridean?
Exactly, he did, because he'd had his restaurant Sula, if I'm saying that right, on the island before he made his way down south and worked in a couple of places. So he'd always spoke about Sula, he'd always showed me pictures. We'd definitely done a couple of the things in the Black Lion that he'd done in Sula, and he'd forever tell me things about these, and I always remember fantasising about these things, wanting to have been a part of that. And like I said, we worked with one of a Scottish boy who had worked with him, and his partner's brother Stuart worked in the restaurant with us, so they'd always talk about stories of the island and Sula. And I was talking to his sister Kathleen about it the other night, and sort of reminded me the feeling of 11 years ago, being very jealous at that point in my life, getting to hear people talking about fishing for salmon and going out hunting for rabbits and this and that, and various ingredients on the island. I always remember being very jealous and hoping one day that it would match up for it to make it up to the island. So I'm very fortunate that 4 or 5 years after being jealous, I managed to be up on the island, experiencing all the things that he spoke about.
You've come a long way today.
I've come a long way. I've come from Copenhagen on Wednesday, which is where I currently live, and I've been living for the past 6 years as a chef, and now currently as a baker.
Well, I live in Suffolk, and Mordo Alec moved to Suffolk to take up a job close to where we are living, and then he came to attend the church that we've been attending for some time, and so I got to know him through our church connections.
Tell me about that connection. Many people go to your church, I'm sure. How did you get to know someone so well that you would do something like this?
I think Mordo Alec was very close to a lot of people. He was quiet in many ways, but he was approachable. So many folk would regard him as a close friend, someone that they could talk with. And so for some of us, we have that experience, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who has that experience. And just here today, you hear the same thing repeated, that there was a trustworthy, godly man that people would go to, would want to hear what he had to say, and was a blessing to many of us.
Did you get a chance to taste his food?
I did, many times. So, as others have said, there was the establishment of the Haar pop-up restaurants, but my wife and I and some other friends were privileged to be guinea pigs, I suppose, in Murdo and Michelle's home with Andrew there, and we were the first ones perhaps to have some of those fine dishes that others have experienced. It was a great privilege to sit round the table together and enjoy those early days. He was quiet, but his cooking became known. The church meets in a community centre on a housing estate in Bury St Edmunds, and during the week of mission we decided that we would have a meal every evening during a 5-day period. And Mordo Alec was asked to be involved in some way, but in Mordo Alec's way he pretty much did everything. And so over a 5-night period he provided dishes from a different part of the world every night. So we had Indian, we had Italian, we had some Eastern European dishes. And during the week the news was getting round the estate that this man was cooking in the community kitchen, producing wonderful food. And so many people came in that week. I think there were around 600 covers were served, and all from one little kitchen with some helpers that he would train up. And it was a great blessing to have Mordo Alec and his cooking known in that local community where the church meets.